You're not going to believe this. Maybe you are, but I couldn't believe this.
I want to hear.
The kids these days are wearing their formal attire and running shoes.
That is strange.
Running shoes.
Hello, Eepers. Welcome to another episode of Extra English Podcast with Misha
And Larissa. We're two Canadian English teachers talking about life in Canada, our lives, and anything else that might interest us. And hopefully will interest you too.
So join us for another conversation.
Today we're going to talk about formal events.
I love a little bit of formalness. Not a lot. It's not my regular, but getting dressed up is fun sometimes.
It can be, yes. So what would you say is the first time you really dressed up formally for an event?
Do you know what? Actually, I think the first time was grade 5 graduation.
Grade 5?
Did you have a grade 5 graduation?
I didn't graduate from grade 5.
Oh, we had a graduation from grade. We got a certificate. I remember it because I got to choose my dress, and I chose this like flowery, floaty. I loved that dress. Loved it.
Okay, I'm stuck on grade 5. Did your school go to grade 5 only?
Yeah. Our school went to grade 5.
Where did you live?
Isn't that? I think that's sort of common.
Not around here.
Grade 5, and then there was a school that did 6, 7, 8, and then high school. And we had a grade 8 graduation also. That time I wore a black velvet turtleneck dress. It was much less joyful, but formal.
More sleek. Yeah.
More grown up, I suppose. Yeah.
No, grade 6 or 8 graduation here.
Did you have a grade 6? Well, I mean, I grew up around here.
But yeah, but weird.
Anyways.
Yeah, that is
The school both of our kids have gone, well, my son will go to, and your kids goes to grade 6.
grade 6. Yes.
Did you have a grade 6 graduation?
No, I don't remember a grade 6 graduation. I remember grade 8 graduation. We had a dance, and I actually missed it because my mom and I were on a trip to Holland. So that was better.
Oh, that's way more fun, actually.
Yeah. But I would have worn a pink flowery dress because that's what I had. Like I bought it with the intention to wear it to that event, and then the tickets overlapped, and
Plans changed.
Yeah.
Did you ever get to wear the pink dress?
It wasn't like so fancy.
Yeah,
It was made of cotton. So I could wear it around, like to church or to a party or whenever I wanted. Yeah.
Nice. What about, did you have formal events in high school, dances?
There were dances. I don't think they were so formal until the final one, the prom.
Prom.
Which I actually didn't go to either.
You missed all the fancy events.
Yeah,
How'd you miss
it's
that
true.
one?
How did I miss that one? I think we just decided not to go, my friends and I. But at the same time, my sister and our close friend and myself were all slated to be bridesmaids in a friend's wedding.
Oh, that's fun.
And so it wasn't exactly the same time, but we had matching dresses for the wedding. And so instead of going to the prom, the three of us and our 3 dates, we got dressed up in our matching dresses.
Cute.
And we went out for a fancy dinner together.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we celebrated it, but not at the formal dance.
Fair enough. Still fun. Still good to
was.
dress up.
Yeah, and I remember I was young, and so I was surprised when the waiter asked us, "Are you a bridal party?" I mean, now as an adult, what else would we have been?
Yeah, exactly. In 3 matching dresses. That's cute.
Yeah. You?
There were semi-formals at my high school,
Okay.
which were dances. I don't know when those started. Maybe grade 9.
Probably, yeah.
Once a year. Semi means half. It's a prefix meaning half. So it's sort of not as formal as probably your bridesmaids' dresses,
Probably not.
but part of the way there. So girls would often wear skirts or dresses. I don't really remember anything in particular I wore, but I did like having an opportunity to dress up a little bit.
And did you start going in grade 9?
I don't remember, to be honest, but probably. I think it was a pretty popular thing to do. Yeah.
Were they held at your school?
Yeah, they were in the cafeteria.
Cafeteria, okay.
Ooh, so fancy. They would have special lighting and put up decorations.
Fun.
Yeah, and people would dance. It was a big, the girls would usually stand in one side, the boys would stand in the other, but occasionally they'd ask each other to dance. It was cute.
I remember in middle school or junior high, I don't know what we want to call it, but grade 7 and 8,
Yeah.
We often had sock hops at lunch.
We had sock hops too. A sock hop.
I
Such a
think
funny
the
name.
idea was that you dance in your socks, but everybody wore shoes.
I know.
And we
yeah.
just wore our regular clothes because it was at lunchtime.
Yeah. What a strange. I wonder what the purpose was behind those. I guess just giving the kids a chance to let loose, have fun.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so. It was, and I guess it was fun.
I think it was fun. Did you go to those?
I did.
Yeah.
I often worked at them. And when I say worked, I mean volunteered because there was fundraising opportunities. I was probably involved in something that needed,
I see.
to raise money. And so I would sell juice or something.
Yeah. Cute.
But I still got to be part of the event.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, but not a formal event.
No.
But hey, let's come back to that semi-formal for a minute. So now my son is in high school. He's in grade 10, and he goes to semi-formals. And you're not going to believe this. Maybe you are, but I couldn't believe this.
I want to hear.
The kids these days are wearing their formal attire, their fancy dresses, and like quite fancy dresses.
Yeah.
And like suits and ties and running shoes.
That is strange.
Running shoes. They don't even have to be ones that match. Like my son wore all black and white sneakers.
Well, I feel like white sneakers are.
Oh, are they cool?
All white sneakers are pretty cool.
All right.
Right?
So now I'm showing my ignorance.
We'll get you a pair of all white sneakers and a fancy dress. That's fun.
Yeah.
The girls do that too with their
Yes.
dresses.
Yes, they do.
Interesting.
And I think it's a little bit, it surprised me because for sure, growing up, all I ever saw was fancy dresses with fancy shoes.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Like that.
Yeah.
It's a set.
That's how it goes.
So I was surprised, but I kind of love it.
No, I think it looks cute.
It looks cute.
Yeah.
It's comfortable. Listen,
Yeah.
if you're going to
High
dance,
heels.
you got to be in comfortable shoes. So at my wedding,
Yeah.
I didn't wear fancy shoes. I wore a very fancy dress, but I wore white sneakers. But
Cute.
not,
See-
but not like tie-up sneakers. They were kind of like a Mary Jane,
Like a
but
slip-on
a
shoe.
slip-on shoe. But they were made by a sneaker company. So I guess I shouldn't be surprised at all.
No.
Maybe I started the
I'm
trend.
saying you were ahead of the curve at the very least.
Wow, look at that!
Your
You are
son's just
welcome,
taking a page out of your book.
everyone, for my foresight. Because my
that's a good
rationale was,
idea.
if I'm going to be on my feet all day, I'm going to be comfortable.
Yeah. If any of you have worn high heels, they're not comfortable. They're cute.
Yeah?
I own one pair right now because where am I going in high heels? And they're very cute, but I only wear them if I know I'm going to be sitting down. Also, footwear makes me think of my mom and I used to always argue when I was a teenager going to these formal events about pantyhose.
Oh, pantyhose.
Pantyhose are like thin. How do you even describe pantyhose?
What are they made of? They're also called nylons.
Yeah.
They're a really thin material that is translucent.
Yeah.
They can be any skin color, any skin tone.
Yeah. Or black or white.
black. Yeah.
And they go from your waist tight, all the way down to your toes, end of your toes, like
Yeah.
socks on the end.
Yeah.
And they're meant to be worn under a dress or a skirt, but they're quite old-fashioned. Like kids these days are not wearing pantyhose.
No. And they're also uncomfortable.
They're very uncomfortable. But my mom was insistent. I think when she was younger, it would have been very inappropriate to go without pantyhose. So she was like, you have to always wear pantyhose. And I was like, Mom, they're not cool. Like the other kids aren't wearing them. They don't feel good. I think usually I convinced her to let me go without them. But it was an argument we had on a regular basis for formal events.
Oh, I believe it. My grandma used to give us, my sister and I, when we were probably like 12-ish, she for Easter, as an Easter gift, she would give us pantyhose.
Pantyhose.
Yes, she would.
And did you wear them? Like,
We did, because if we were wearing dresses, we had to wear pantyhose.
oh yeah, it was a
But
thing.
I thinking back, I'm trying to understand, because I didn't ask her.
Yeah.
But why did she think that was?
An Easter gift.
Yeah, and I think because at Easter you often get a new dress, a new
right.
Easter dress to wear to church and the formal events, and maybe her her way of contributing was the pantyhose.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah.
Would you be like pretend excited? Oh, pantyhose.
Well, she lived in a different city, so they
I
would
see.
come in the mail.
Okay.
And we were just like, oh, Grandma gave us pantyhose again.
That's cute. Do you know, I do actually own a pair of pantyhose now that I think about
Really?
it. 2 pairs.
Oh.
But they're bright colors.
Oh.
So it's less about looking, like the old ones were kind of meant to look like your skin a little bit, weirdly.
Yeah.
These ones are not. They're meant to be like fun.
Do they include the feet?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
They're like pantyhose.
See, because I feel like the modern version of that is tights.
Yes, but tights aren't really meant to go under a skirt.
Fair.
People wear them that way. But you know what I mean?
Yeah, okay.
Like pantyhose, you can't wear pantyhose without.
No.
They're not pants.
No.
Whereas tights, people these days often wear tights like pants.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I lived outside of Canada for 5 years, and when I came back, it was 2013, and I was surprised. I kept saying, why does everyone think that they're wearing pants? Because they were wearing tights, and it happened while I was away, like that shift.
Yes.
And I really was surprised. Like that didn't seem like pants to me. It seemed like something to go underneath, I guess, a
Agreed.
skirt or a very long shirt.
Totally.
No, they're pants.
They're pants.
Now?
When it first happened, I was like, I am never going to leave the house in tights as pants.
And
Yeah, now I do it. 10 years later or whatever it is.
I mean, they're ridiculously comfortable.
They're so comfortable. Also, I do usually wear a long t-shirt. I don't know that I'd wear like tight, but I'm a little maybe more modest leaning than the average.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But they're much better than pantyhose in many ways. And I think primarily because there's no feet. I always find the feet to be uncomfortable. But then again, I don't like socks.
I don't like socks. I'm not wearing socks right now.
Me neither. Hey.
Even though it's snowing outside today. Yeah, I agree with you. Also, pantyhose would get a run.
Oh, yeah. So a run means like something would snag it and make a small hole, but then that hole would kind of grow all the way up or down the leg, and it would look...
You'd have to stop it with nail
very good.
polish.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah,
This was because they're woven, so when they get a hole, it rips. So who knew we had so much to say about pantyhose?
I totally forgot about pantyhose.
I know, I think I haven't thought about them in a while.
There was a time... I have sisters who are about a decade younger than me. And there was a time when my parents were on vacation and I was like taking care of the household. And my one sister had a birthday party to attend.
Okay.
And so she wanted to wear a dress. She was probably like 7.
Yeah.
She got her dress on, and then we went in the drawer and I got out some leotards for her to wear with her dress. So leotards are like pantyhose, but thicker. They would be cotton probably.
Yeah.
And I remember her like not wanting to wear them. I don't exactly know what the reason was, but probably it had to do with not being socially acceptable.
Yeah.
And the problem was that I hadn't planned ahead. And so the party was like in 5 minutes and I had to get her there. And I didn't have time to figure out what she could wear instead of the pantyhose.
Yeah.
And so to this day, I kind of regret my lack of timing, my lack of planning made her have to wear pantyhose or leotards to this party.
Oh.
If you're listening, sister, I hope you're not scarred for life. And I do apologize.
It's nice of you to own your mistake. Okay, all this came from prom.
Yeah.
So I will say I went to prom 2 proms.
Oh, did you
I don't
graduate
remember why there
twice?
were
No, you
2.
just went.
No. I was so good. They let me graduate twice. No.
Well, I mean,
Maybe one was like at the school. One was like a school event.
Okay.
Our parents came. It was at the school. We danced. Like I danced with my dad. It was cute. It was cute. And I wore like a blue strapless sparkly thing. I loved it. And then the other one was the students had like put money together to, and it was on a boat.
what?
Yeah, it was very straight. I don't know why we
Is it
decided
a
on
big
a boat.
boat, or did you have a small graduating class?
No, like a large boat. I'm not sure what Anyway, we went and on the boat. I had a different dress that time. One shoulder, similar stretchy material and sparkly. And I kept that one for years. I wore it again later because it was stretchy. So it grew with me. And it was fun. I don't remember much about it except I had a crush on a boy. And I was hoping we would dance and we didn't. I was sad about it. I know. High school heartbreak, you know?
It's tumultuous time.
So rough. But otherwise, it was fun. I think there was like food. Obviously, there's no drinking. We're underage. It wasn't that kind of party, but there were like snacks and there was fun music.
And nobody fell overboard.
I mean, not that I heard about. Well, and my friends and I rented a limo, and somehow I lost my camera. You know, at that time, we didn't take pictures. We didn't have phones.
No.
So I had a camera with film inside, and I lost it.
Oh.
And then about a week later, somehow we had this prom before school was finished. My math teacher said, "Hey, I found a camera, and I developed the photos, and I think they're yours." Isn't that so nice?
It is really nice.
Like, what a lucky coincidence. And then so
Yeah.
nice of him to take the time to develop the pictures and see who's in them. It was
Also
sweet.
lucky that you had okay pictures for him to see.
I mean, listen, there was no chance of anything else, but yes. It's true. I still have those pictures. I'll see if I can post one.
Wow.
Yeah. High school grad.
High school grad Misha with the one strap, sparkly dress.
If I still had that dress, I would still wear it. I loved it.
I believe it.
Yeah. But eventually, it was like elastic, which doesn't survive for decades. But. So I had that dress, which I no longer have, the one shoulder, black sparkle. And I wore it again years later I was working for a nonprofit, and they have an annual fundraising dinner,
Oh, yes.
right? And often those kind of events can be quite formal.
Yep.
It was a huge event. They'd have 900 people, 1,000 people
Wow.
in a big room, all sitting down for supper. And you would dress up. And I went many years, and I love dressing up, as long as it's infrequent. If I had to do it every day, I don't think I'd like it. But I do not. Anyway, so I wore it again to that, like maybe 15 years later or 10 years later. Yeah, it was fun. It was nice to bring it back.
Okay, so let me ask. You went to this event for multiple years, right?
Yeah, I've probably gone maybe 10 times.
And would you wear the same dress multiple times, or did you feel the need to always get a new one?
I felt the excitement of choosing a new one every time. Plus, one year I had just arrived home from Laos. I lived in Laos, country between Vietnam and Thailand, for a year. And I came home and I had all this beautiful silk. Lao weaving is incredibly beautiful. So I made myself one year a dress out of ikat, which is a type of weaving silk. It was beautiful. I loved that dress. And then another year, I had just arrived home from India. I lived and worked in India for a while. I had a beautiful sambal-puri, which is a specific type of weaving sari. And I got a friend. It takes some skill to wrap a sari the right way.
Yeah, sure.
It's not, you can't just throw it on.
Just put it on like a shirt, yeah.
So I'd gone to an Indian friend's house beforehand for her to help me wrap the sari the right way. And I was really excited to wear that because it reminded me of I had worked in Odisha, which is the state that's known for that type of weaving. So I wore my sari one year. I can't remember other things I'd made other years. Yeah, I liked it. I often volunteered at that event as an usher, so I'd help people find their table. So I also had to be a little extra formal.
Everybody got to see your fancy dress.
Right?
Because if you're just sitting at the table.
No, you got to swan about a little bit.
Swan about.
Yeah, but it was fun. Have you been to events like that as an adult?
As an adult, I don't have a lot of formal invitations.
Yes, me neither.
When I lived in Qatar, we would sometimes have more formal events. The school I worked at would sometimes put on like a big dinner and party for the women.
Oh, nice.
There might have been things for the men too. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't pay attention to that. But what was interesting, it was for students and faculty and staff and anybody connected to the school.
Yeah.
What I found interesting was that when we got there, it was always the Canadians who were the least well-dressed.
Oh, I'm not surprised. We're not a very formal culture.
No, we're not. And I hadn't brought, I have a few formal bridesmaids dresses from over the years, and I hadn't brought them with me. I hadn't thought that I would be attending galas or formal events. So I went out and bought, I'm very practical. So I wanted to buy something that was a little bit blingy, but also something I could wear again.
Yeah.
So I just got a nice top with some jewels on it, and it was sleeveless, and I thought this will be great. This will work for this and for other things. No. No.
You
No,
showed up and
It was I was very underdressed. Very underdressed.
even with a little bling.
Even with the bling, yes.
What were other people wearing?
The students were wearing beautiful dresses made from really nice fabric, like kind of like you were describing.
Yeah.
Sparkly, fitted, silky, or satiny. Like, they were gorgeous.
Yeah.
I mean, they covered them up when they came and
Sure.
went, but
Yep.
when we were just all the women together, they
Yeah.
had like beautiful,
Like,
very
were they
formal.
embroidered? Is that very common there?
So traditionally, yes,
okay.
but these are young people and
Modern.
and yeah, they
Yeah,
would
yeah.
have gone to probably to a tailor,
Yeah.
not to a store, but they might have gone to a store and bought a beautiful formal dress. Yeah, it was so fun to watch, but here I was in my skirt and top.
But didn't you say you went to multiple of these? Did you change was that the first time or did you stick with it?
Maybe I only went to 2.
I see.
I thought about, when I came home in the summer, I thought about bringing my most recent bridesmaid dress back with me.
Yeah.
Did I? I don't remember. I so rarely, then I had a baby and then I didn't do much.
That changes things.
I mean, and also I'm not as, I guess, like, from our stories, I didn't go to my dances as a teenager and
Right.
you did.
Yeah.
And okay, so you would buy a new dress every time you go to that
The dinner.
event.
Yes.
I have a dress
Yeah.
that my mother-in-law bought for me 15 years ago. 12
That
maybe?
someone else bought for you also. That's
Yes.
interesting.
We went together.
Okay. I see.
She helped me pick it out.
Yeah.
And it's the dress that I wear to all the things.
When was the last time you wore it?
I wore, honestly,
Oh, has it been a while?
no, to her funeral.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice though. Something she bought for you. I think that's a nice.
It's black and white, and we
Yeah.
often wear black to a funeral.
Right.
But nope, I was going to wear that one because it was
Yeah.
from her.
That's lovely.
And it was my go-to. And yeah. Sorry to make this sad.
No, celebration of life. I think
Yeah.
that's good. That's a nice way to honor her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting though. We are different that way. Partly, I think, because I like to sew, I would get excited about that opportunity.
Yep.
Although if I were buying them, I'd probably buy a new one every year.
And for me also, I think there's a difference between what I think I want, like the practical, when my brain is in
Yes.
control, and when I let myself just like follow my heart.
Yeah.
And so my example for that is when I was shopping for a wedding dress, I thought I wanted something simple, something with a little bit of flow, but not a lot of flair.
Yeah.
And I was trying on those kind of dresses. And at one point, my sister, who was with me, said, she took off this dress from the rack, and it was very princessy, and it had a big, like a big poofy
poof.
skirt. And she said, just try it on. I was like, I'm not going to like that. Just, will you try it on?
Yeah.
I'm not going to try. It's a waste of time. I'm not going to buy it. She says, just do it for me. Okay, fine. I'll put it on. Once I had it on, I didn't want to take it off.
I love this.
And so this is what I wonder how much of me is like you,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I've just not let myself explore it.
Yeah. I think that's an interesting
So
question.
we need to have a fancy party.
Come for supper. We'll all get dressed up. King Shook has great fancy outfits. That's my son. He has very cute traditional clothes that are lovely. We'll get dressed up.
All right.
Your kids can come if
Okay.
they want to get dressed up. Great.
So my daughter does not.
Oh, no, she's not into that.
Recently, she was invited to a gala.
Ooh, gala means fancy.
Yeah, a fancy event. There's usually like some kind of a meal. There's usually some kind of speeches.
Right.
And there's usually dancing. Usually. It can be different, but that's
Yeah.
often how it goes.
Often, yeah.
Okay, so she plays a sport called ringette. And at the end of the year, this year, they had a gala. It was the first time ever.
Oh, fun.
This sport is primarily played by girls.
Is that true?
Yeah.
In general?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
We'll have a whole episode about this, I think, in the future.
Ringette.
But it's like hockey, but it was created for girls. And
I
they don't
see.
exclude boys, but it still leans that way. Yeah.
Well, learning.
So at the end of the season, they wanted to have a celebration.
Yeah.
We've in the past had a pancake breakfast, but it was poorly attended. So
Okay,
they
fair
thought,
enough.
let's try something bigger and fancier.
Yeah.
And that would appeal to more ages because our ringette club starts at when you're maybe 4 or 5 and
Okay.
players can be 19, 18.
Oh, so practically grown-ups.
Yeah. I mean, they don't play against each other, but we have teams in all those
18
ages.
in the 4-year-old. No. Who would win?
For cuteness, the little ones.
100%.
So when we got the invite, my daughter was quite stressed about it actually because she doesn't like to wear dresses. She's not
Okay.
comfortable in dresses. She loves like track pants and she loves her brother's hand-me-downs. Like
I see.
she likes to be comfortable.
Yeah.
So in the end, I think there might have been a few kids who were hesitant. And so we got another email saying, well, it's not dressed to impress as much as dressed to express, like express yourself.
Okay.
So there were
like
lots of players in fancy dresses and sneakers.
Yep. I can't. I'm like, my brain is like, when can I do this? What's my opportunity for fancy dress and sneakers? I'm going to keep an eye out.
There were also some younger kids with dress shoes on because their parents don't know that
How
it's sneakers.
cool.
Yeah, they don't know. How would they? But my daughter chose to wear jeans and a t-shirt and a blazer. We went to the secondhand store and we got her a blazer
Fun.
because for her that's really fancy.
Yeah. A blazer is like a jacket, but not the kind you wear for warmth. It's sort of like what a man wears with a suit, except it's made for, I mean, a blazer could be for
Yeah.
a man or a woman, but you can find more tailored ones for women
like
if you want.
a professional woman might wear a pantsuit or something like that, and that's a blazer. The jacket is a blazer.
Yes.
So she wore her blazer, and she needed new running shoes anyway. So we went and got her new sneakers.
Gotcha.
And so she wore those. We bought them the week before, but she had to wait until the gala to wear them. That was like the big fancy thing.
Cute.
And then I was going as well, and I wanted to dress up at least a little bit.
Yeah.
But I was afraid that she would be the only kid not dressed up. And so I said, I will wear whatever you wear.
Yeah.
So I
That's
also
nice.
wore jeans. She let me wear like a flowery kind of frilly shirt under my blazer.
A little fancy.
A little fancy. And I wore sneakers too.
Because now you know it's cool.
But they were
You
not
always
white.
knew it's cool.
I always did know. But these ones were pink.
Yeah. Oh.
Hers were orange, so I had to match.
Oh, I feel like color could be cool.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be, but apparently white is the most cool. Anyway.
Because it's the hardest to maintain. I feel like that's got to be part of it. Right? The second you scuff a white shoe.
Yeah, then it's a gray shoe.
Exactly.
It was fun. We had a great time.
That's really
And
fun.
I think now that she has seen a gala and seen like the variety of ways you can dress, especially in Canada. Like we don't like we're really loosey goosey with our
Very casual
yeah.
in general.
In general and in fashion especially. Like
Yeah.
there are times when something is more appropriate or less appropriate, but it's rare that you'd be turned away or mocked
Yes.
for dressing
If you
inappropriately.
wore jeans to a formal wedding, people might be upset with you. But otherwise,
So we have a friend who doesn't like to wear a suit, but he gets away with it because he has he gets away with not wearing a suit to formal events because in his background he has some Scottish. So he wears a kilt,
a kilt.
but only to formal events. Like he doesn't celebrate his Scottish roots in any other way. It's just a way
just to get out of suit wearing.
show up in a t-shirt and a kilt, and everyone
You would
thinks
stand
it's great.
out. People would think that's great.
Kind of likes to stand out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Interesting.
Yeah.
You know, that makes me think about when I've worn a sari to a famous event or a formal event, or I wear a lao skirt, sometimes called a sin. And it's an interesting line with stuff like that. I love those fabrics and the textiles and the tradition, but it's not my culture.
Yeah.
And it's always a bit of a fine line between what is appreciating the culture, what is appropriating. Anyway.
Have you ever had an experience where someone had a negative reaction?
No.
No.
People are generally excited.
Yeah.
Oh, and when I lived in India, I would occasionally wear I had 2 sambalpuri saris, this like specific type of weaving, and I'd wear them to work sometimes just because I wanted to wear them.
Yeah.
And my work friends all thought it was funny because where we were, which was kind of a rural area, the young women didn't wear saris in daily life. They would wear a salwar, kameez salwar kurta outfit. So when I wore it, but then it kind of, because I was doing it, it made it kind of fun. So then one day they all planned and they all did it. It was cute. Yeah. Plus the first time I had gotten some lessons on how to tie it. But the first time I wore it to work, I did it myself. And I arrived and my female coworkers are like, no. They hustled me into it. We worked in a little lab, kind of. They hustled me into a storage room and unwrapped the whole thing and fixed it, rewrapped it. It was really cute. It's complicated. It's a lot of meters of fabric.
Yeah, I think it comes from the heart of what you were doing, right? You were wearing it out of appreciation and respect and like real awe of this. Like, you love the fabrics.
I
love
it. Yeah,
and people
true.
can tell.
Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah. And Lao textiles, I think, are also a lot less well known in the world. So I always feel like anytime I'm wearing Lao textiles, I want people to comment so I can tell them, oh, this is from Lao.
Yeah.
So in this way, yeah, I think so.
Good.
Yeah, fun.
So I had an unfinished thought before, and then the conversation moved on, and that was beautiful. But my daughter, now that she has been to a gala and seen all the different ways one can dress formally, I think next time she might be open to trying something a little fancier.
Interesting. We'll have to.
I'll keep you posted.
Exactly.
Yes, it'll be a whole year until then.
I'm
She'll
very
have a whole
patient.
new personality, maybe even. Who knows?
Who knows?
People change a lot in a year.
Absolutely, especially at that age.
Yeah.
You and I, we're kind of who we are, set in our ways.
For better or worse,
Yeah.
This is me.
But I'm curious.
Yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. And at least next year, I'll be able to wear what I want because she'll know what the expectations are.
And you saw there were other kids there who were wearing, like some kids in jeans.
Not so much jeans, but like pants, like what do you call those like a romper?
Oh, yeah, a jumpsuit.
A jumpsuit, yeah. And there were some kids in more gender neutral clothing that were still on the formal side. There was and then like fancy dresses, but also casual sundresses, that kind of a thing as well. Lots of options.
Wide range.
Yeah.
That's fun. I like that.
Mm-hmm. This has been a fun conversation. Thanks, Misha.
You're welcome. I love talking about clothes.
And someday I want to hear more about the clothes you've made.
We could have a whole episode about things we like to sew.
Hey, why not?
Stay tuned one day.
Thanks for listening to another episode.
Find us on Instagram or YouTube to join the conversation.